For joining on live. Today what we're going to be doing is during our town hall, we like to just bring everybody in to talk a little bit about just what we've been doing at Heartbeat over the last month, what we've got coming up for you guys over the next month, next couple months. And then we like to leave a little bit of the room open just to answer any questions that you have, anything that you guys are wondering about the future of Heartbeat, things that you want to, push up a little bit on the roadmap, on the requests, things like that. And so we like to just keep this feedback section open. By the way, guys, if my voice is a little off, I apologize. I'm getting over a cold. I'm at the final stages of it, so I've got a cough drop in my mouth right now. Give me a little bit of room there. But I appreciate you guys joining on. We've got people from all over. Patrick coming in from London. We've got Dasha coming in from Serbia. We've got Allison coming in from Calgary, Alberta. Awesome, so many folks. I actually really want to visit Calgary, by the way. You guys have the second largest intact T-Rex fossil. That's not a joke. That's the reason why I really want to visit. I'm super excited to dive into what we've got ready for you guys today. Like I said, a reminder is we're going to spend the first third of this call. We're going to talk a little bit about what we've done over the last month of Heartbeat. We are going to use the second third of the call to talk about what's coming next. And that last third is pretty open just to make sure that anything that you guys want us to keep our eye on, we're doing that. It's really, again, the purpose of this call is to cast a vision for where Heartbeat's headed and give you guys a chance to share what's really important to you so we can co-create what comes next in this amazing platform and really make sure that this is the best community platform that's out there. The last thing that I'm going to say is any feedback that you have, drop it into the chat. We've got multiple people that are going to be scanning that, making sure we pull up questions. As you guys have any questions, feel free to drop it in there. We'd love to address those live. Some of them we might save till the end, but most of them we tend to address live. And what I'll say is there's so many times where we get feedback on these calls that completely change our roadmap. We have gotten feedback on these calls, which has changed how we operate for the next 3 months, for the next 6 months, what features we build, what features we don't build. Please make your voice heard because we want to know as much as possible what you need as you are continuing to build and scale up and grow your business on Heartbeat. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And we are going to dive into what we've got ready for today. So I'm going to go ahead and share. We're going to jump over. And so the first thing that I want to talk about is really what we have done over the last month. Now, as we dive into this, what I want to talk about is just how we are thinking about reliability and getting better and better at this as we continue to scale. And what sort of prompted this conversation is it came up a little bit through the product market fit survey that we ran a few weeks back. And then we had some incidents that popped up over the past few weeks. We had some issues with the 502 errors on custom domains. This was specifically affecting folks in the EU. And so folks that were trying to access their communities were getting hit by 502 errors. Within a couple days, we released a fix that allowed you to update your domain, the backend settings of it to help get rid of this. If you are still running into any kind of slowness on your custom domain or things like that, we'd recommend you go through the upgrade process. If you just go to the custom domain tab in your settings, this will walk you through the process. It's pretty simple. It takes 5 minutes. But we saw this issue pop up. We had an issue with paid community, basically when we were updating Heartbeat for the most recent iOS update, 18.5, if I'm remembering correctly. There was an issue where people couldn't access the community because it had this paid community only sign that popped up. And then most recently, we actually had a DDoS issue that popped up on Sunday, which took Heartbeat down for a couple hours. And so in seeing these kind of 3 issues happen in short succession, one of the biggest things we really recognize internally is that we need to lean a lot more aggressively into how we approach reliability as we continue to scale Heartbeat. We kind of see this as growing pains as we continue to grow and build up the business. We're now at 3 times the scale we were the same time last year. We're seeing 50% more communities each week versus what we were seeing about 6 months ago. And so we're seeing so much growth happen around the platform that, when you build a business and you start growing and scaling this stuff, most of what you're focusing on is, hey, how do we solve problems? But now we need to think about these questions of how do we solve these massive problems at scale for thousands of communities, hundreds of thousands of users that are actively using Heartbeat. And so as we dig into this and as we like really focus on addressing these growing pains, what we're looking at now is a deeper emphasis on reliability from the engineering standpoint. We're working to contract a performance consultant right now. We've actually found the person that we want to work with, and so we are in the like final stages of bringing this person on board, working more directly with them to proactively address not only the problems that we've run into most recently, but what are the next problems that we're going to run into over the next 6-month period, the next 12-month period, and how do we get ahead of that so that you have the most stable platform to build your community on. We are scaling up the engineering team a little bit more this summer as well too. This will help Mehul just kind of offload some of the stuff that's popping on his plate, because we want to make sure that we have engineers that can maintain a lot of the existing code while Mehul goes out and builds out a lot of these like new features that help make your community better. We're looking at internal improvements around monitoring. We've already built out some really powerful internal dashboards for us to proactively figure out, hey, if something goes wrong, does this have cascading effects that causes other breakage? Improved incident response processes for our support team. And then the biggest thing is, like auditing a lot of our internal endpoints and email sending to prevent any kind of abuse moving forward. So these are some of the biggest things that we're looking at. And the way that I see this is, as you continue to grow, there's just going to be like more things that you run into issues with, right? The things that allowed Heartbeat to stay really strong and stable 2 years ago are not going to be the same today, and we have to keep updating and improving these processes. And what I'm excited about is getting the resources that actually allow us to now do this way more proactively, so that you don't run into these issues. We're able to like check them out. We're able to see that, hey, in 6 months, we're going to start hitting this problem, and we can go ahead and proactively start responding to that and fixing it. So this is kind of the bigger things that we're looking at in terms of reliability over here. So let me pause real quick. Any questions that I'm getting in the Zoom chat, Mike or Nick?
So far, we do have just a comment from David regarding the Hearth not loading in his browser. I think it's probably related to the issues you've talked about, but did want to give him voice to that.
Yeah, great question. So you know what? Funny enough, as we're talking right now, we're going through like another, not we, but like the internet is going through another like weird outage cycle. Mehul, feel free to comment on this, but there's like parts of AWS that are down. There's parts of Firebase that are down. This is something that's affecting all online platforms, not just Heartbeat. So it's kind of one of those things where, like, funny enough, as we were on this call talking about it, this is a major internet outage that's affecting a lot of other providers as well too.
Yeah, so far we're not seeing anything that affects Heartbeat directly, although I do know that on the events page we do have a Google Calendar integration, so that might be related to if Google is having issues on their side, that might manifest on the events page. But we're looking into kind of the extent of how this is affecting us right now.
Mm-hmm. We do also have a couple other comments here I'll surface up. Michelle and David were just talking about issues with the events section of the Hearth today. So that could be related to that outage that we're having there.
Yeah, Firebase is owned by Google, and so the assumption is if there's some issues with Firebase that are happening, it's probably cascading through some other Google products as well. Yeah. Because we have an integration with Google Calendar, because there's some we rely on that a little bit, that might be causing some issues there.
And David did want to clarify, he does love Heartbeat. He was just flagging this so that we were aware. I'll put that up on screen for you, David. There you go. We appreciate you so much for clarifying that. Want to get a couple other questions here. Let's see. Dasha mentions that she communicated with Samantha in support through emails. Had not sent her, and Dasha has not sent a reply to the community indicating the issue with the iframe has been resolved. So when related to the iframe issue, that's all solid, guys. Just want to make sure okay. Excellent. Speaking of improvement, and she'll mention that. Okay. So, Dash, are you saying, if I understood this comment right, and if I misread it, correct me, did you want us to communicate things a little bit differently? And you could add more color to that in a comment. I'll read that follow-up that you have there if you do share more. Because, again, this is the forum to improve that. Nicole asked, could the update about the DNS please be sent via email next time? If I hadn't attended, I wouldn't have known why our community was so slow. So
100%, yeah. So Nick actually just mentioned, just as we're about to jump on this call, we're planning to send out a larger update as well too. We figured we had you guys live, might as well tell you right over here before we send out the actual text instructions. But that's going to come into your community extremely soon.
And you'll see a pop-up, and we'll also send it via email.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Dasha says everything is fine. Nicole says thank you. Benny is happy to hear about the work that we're doing. Thank you, guys. Glad to know that when something happens, we can address it directly. We do have a direct question from Sarah that she's having issues getting embedded Vimeo videos to show up on the app because I don't know the URL for the app for privacy settings. Any specific feedback on that one we can offer?
Yeah, that's a known limitation for Vimeo. Specifically, like the way that mobile apps work is different from the way websites work. So there's not really a URL that you can give to Vimeo to say, hey, let's whitelist this over here. Because like, again, mobile apps were using base code to actually load up all the information, pull it, display it in the mobile app. So there's not gonna be like a URL that you can whitelist or anything like that. It's literally pulling code directly from Heartbeat servers. And so for that reason, that's actually why we recommend using like native video hosting on Heartbeat, because that's what allows you to create private videos that are only displayed and hosted within your community. It locks them down and adds some additional download prevention as well as like automatic transcriptions. That's actually one of the main reasons why we released that feature. Is there's not a great way to create fully private embedded videos. As soon as you make a portal that makes a video available on some kind of external website, it's hard to like perfectly like lock that down to only that website, also the app, but different areas can't access it.
Sarah says makes sense. Thanks for clarifying. So
of course.
Wonderful. Glad we could answer that for you. And
Awesome.
then Benny did float a question, which we could circle back to depending when we want to do it. But any upgrades to the voice room feature? I can log. I see it, Benny. I see your question. I got it in the list here.
The short answer is definitely we're thinking about it, but let's come back to this at the end.
Sure.
Awesome. With that, let's go ahead and shift over to the next set of updates that we want to talk about. This is all stuff that we've gotten done over the last month. Mayhul, do you want to take it away with some of the product improvements?
Yeah, like Mirza mentioned, the main focus that we've had over this last month has been around reliability and addressing these issues as they come up. And we take kind of having your community stay up very that's a very important goal for us. And so when we have issues like that, we spend a lot of time to identify what was the root cause, how do we prevent the issues from coming up again, and how do we give you workarounds so that you can access your community as fast as possible. In terms of other things that we've been working on over the last month, over the last couple of town halls, we've been talking about the desktop redesign. And so by now, hopefully all of you have gotten a chance to check that out. That's now live in all communities. And we've gotten a lot of great feedback about the redesign and how people are enjoying exploring the new UI. With that, we definitely kind of discovered some nooks and crannies here and there about issues with the new design. We had a couple points of feedback around the create post flow and some formatting issues and pasting from different places, or the formatting bar not appearing as expected. And so we've also spent the last month just kind of cleaning up all of the random things that kind of got moved around as we refreshed everything. But I think with what we're seeing right now, hopefully the redesign is a really solid place moving forward, and hopefully you guys continue to enjoy using it. The other bigger improvement that we made over the last month was improvements to the onboarding process for those of you using offers with no card free trials. And so this is something that Mike actually specifically was talking to us about because he runs this in his own community. But for those of you that basically want people to be able to join your community without entering a credit card up front, we've basically updated the copy and the way the checkout page looks to make it more clear to your potential members that they're not being asked to pay any thing up front. They don't have to give you their credit card. So that way they feel more comfortable joining your community. And then once they're in, you can kind of take your time to warm them up to everything that your community offers and hopefully get them to convert at the end of the process. And so Mike was actually just mentioning earlier that he's in his early testing, he's been seeing a big bump in conversion rates. And so hopefully those of you using those same offers can see that soon as well. Yeah, those are the main things on product. We'll have some more things talking about soon about upcoming changes, but I'll pass it over to you, Mike.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Do you want me to pull up the screen share? Because I have a visual, so I'm going to do that. Let me bring in the Notion here. Window, and there we are. Okay. All right. I see the UI changes over. Awesome. So super cool stats is one of my. I should put a TM at trademark after that one because I'm gonna coin that as a phrase. But yeah, super cool stats for marketing. These are things that I'm just proud of that I just want to share with you guys. So. Weekly new community creation volume. Every week, how many new communities are we seeing? We have year-over-year volume in the same software because we've been using a reporting software finally for over a year, and we're able to see that each week we are seeing 50% more communities join and spin up a new instance of a community than we did the exact same week last year. So adjusting for seasonality, when we're looking at just this week versus the same time of year last year, seeing that up, is just indicative of the movement, of the momentum that the company is experiencing, that you guys are spreading the love organically through, and seeing that people are choosing Heartbeat as the home to build their community on a website that you own, which is really exciting. Also, really just want to shout this one out, guys. We have 25 communities that have made over $100,000 through Heartbeat payments. So there are more, because there are folks I know who have not yet used the integrated Heartbeat payment feature, or maybe you have like a legacy cart structure that you use outside and we integrate with that. But from what we can see, 25 of you are making over 100K. So congrats to you guys who are the top earning Heartbeat communities. For privacy's sake, I'm not going to name names, but there are 25 of you, and that is an awesome cohort. And I will shout out that there's a few people right on their tails. We've probably got another 10 or 12 that are in the 80s, 90s that are really getting there already. So congrats to you guys for the marketing that you're doing, the experiences that you're making to grow your communities. And collectively, if we add it all up, we've seen almost 12 million in total revenue collected by communities, again, through Heartbeat payments. So this is you. This is not us. This is you. You guys have done some really amazing stats. And I know these because I dig into the stats to try to understand where are you guys doing well, where are you guys maybe getting a little hung up, and what can we provide content-wise to help you move through those steps to get into these upper echelons of successful communities. That's really where the marketing effort has been focused. So really excited to share these stats. So congrats, hats off that I'm not wearing to you guys. Really awesome there. Things that the growth team is working on is we've been doing LinkedIn and YouTube live streams. So this session right now is simulcasted out to LinkedIn and YouTube. But the impact of that is that we're seeing audience growth, and we're starting to see some organic growth too. I'm mentioning all the things here, by the way, are things that are directly relevant to you guys growing your revenue, so you can join those clubs that I mentioned further up in the doc. Growing through YouTube, especially because our tutorial content has proven to be really popular how-to content. Has done really well. And then LinkedIn, people are there to grow professionally, grow their revenue. And so being able to stream there has worked out really well for us in partnership with the LinkedIn newsletter that we run there too. So if you're not already following Heartbeat's LinkedIn page, please do follow us. If you're not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do. You'll get notifications when we have all the content that we're publishing. And we do snip it all up into smaller guides. So if you want to do digestible, shorter content, not just vertical, but shorter standard landscape content, we have it all there. We've been using live walkthroughs as an evergreen lead magnet. So again, I want to try to make a mini marketing lesson for you guys. We've found out that this flow that we've been doing of running weekly walkthroughs to have you guys have a member of our team walk you through all the features of Heartbeat, see the best practices that those 100K plus communities are using to leverage all the features. They help people. And we've been using retargeting ads now to drive more traffic to those sessions, and we've been seeing that those sessions have been producing great return on us for folks who are now getting into starting communities who maybe were on the fence and hadn't spun up a trial yet. So that's been working well for us. And we've been running a lot of website A/B tests. So if you guys have visited the website on different days or through different browsers, what you may have noticed is that the copy has been changing slightly, like the hero copy, some of the bodies, what the buttons say. We've been testing a bunch of small variables. So far, we've run about 5 or 6 small tests, and the net effect is that our conversion rate has gone up by 30%. So if you add all the different net improvements across the different tests that we've been doing, and we've got another couple, probably dozen tests cooked up now that we're going to want to run after that. But sometimes I just want to underscore that it's stacking up a bunch of small things can lead to a big lift. And to clarify, we didn't take it from like 20% conversion to 50% conversion. We took it from 20% to 30% more than 20%. But still, that's a nice lift, in especially when you try to get the most juice for squeeze with the traffic that you get to your websites today. So all these things are things you guys could use too, but we're just really proud of having done it. So that's what we've done in growth over the past little bit. When we go to support, do you want me to keep screen sharing?
Sure.
And we'll just go with a single share?
Perfect. Okay. Sweet. Nick here taking over for Siobhan today on the support side. She's a little under the weather, so thoughts for Siobhan today. But here's what happened over the last month on the support side. Above all the ticket responses that y'all are getting every day, there was a huge push to upgrade and revamp our help center. Notably, we have 50 revamped or new help articles in the help center as of today. In addition to that, I want to say maybe like 30 plus new videos recorded by yours truly, Mortaza, on the call here. So you will probably be seeing a lot of his face if you're consuming our help content. And don't worry, he's wearing a nice button down in most of the videos too, so he's looking dapper. But check it out if you haven't been to our help center in a while. It's worth the watch. There's like a lot of updates, and I'm sure that there are certain things that you may have missed in all of the improvements and feature pushes that we're doing every week. So it's always nice to get a little refresher. Revisit our help center, check out the new videos. There's also a new push that we're pushing, that we're focusing on with recipes, as we call them. And they're basically like how-to guides with building things with multiple features within Heartbeat. It's kind of like taking all the ingredients that Heartbeat gives you and building a recipe for success out of it. So you'll also notice toward the bottom of our main Help Center page, there's a recipes category with just like best practice how-to guides on how to build out certain things in the community, such as like follow-up flows for abandoned carts, or badge systems to help gamify your community. And there's a lot more to come there. So if you have any feedback or questions around like specific use cases or things you'd like to build, let us know. We'll try to build a recipe out for you.
And one thing that I'll just throw in here, Nick, is a lot of this is kind of our shift in thinking from not answering the question of how do I use Heartbeat, but how do I grow my business on Heartbeat? And that's what we really want to focus on, is making sure that we are providing you best practices for actually growing and scaling the business itself, largely through revenue, largely through member growth, and making sure that you are providing the best experience possible. Because when we think about kind of like what our jobs are, is it's not just pushing out features, it's making a meaningful impact on your business, right? Like we've got to solve the actual problems that your business is running into. Otherwise, we're not doing our jobs correctly. And so that's what a lot of this shift in support is moving towards, is kind of answering those questions. The second thing that we've also done with a lot of these videos is you'll notice that maybe like last year and the year before, we were releasing a lot of these like 8, 9, like 10-minute videos, and we're trying to pare a lot of that down, because the reality is like the best product experience is not you sit down and you watch like 8 15-minute videos and now you know how to use a product. We want to make sure that the product itself teaches you how to use Heartbeat, and when you get stuck, when you hit an issue, there's a 2-minute, a 3-minute video that you can just jump into, see real quick, immediately answers your question and gets you where you need to go. And so that's kind of how we're thinking about this, is like each of these support videos is not just about communicating a ton of information. It is how do we do that while giving you the best product experience and the best user experience as you're actually getting started on Heartbeat.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, on that note, what you'll start to notice coming soon is like progressive pop-ups that you'll see in community based on your usage of certain features, with like on a silver platter, a video on how to continue growing with Heartbeat. And it will know what you're already using and what you can be using to grow even more. So that's coming. That's the sophistication level that we're getting to. And until then, just enjoy those videos on our YouTube channel or in the Help Center. We'd love to get your feedback there. All right, cool. So the last thing I want to talk about on the support side, if you could scroll down a little bit, Mike, is response time. Response time was a challenge for us, I'd say about 8 to 12 months ago, when we were really trying to figure out like how do we sustainably grow a support team that can be there in a timely way for all of y'all. And of course, we're still continuing to invest in this. Like our ideal scenario is like same day response for everybody, even closer to same day, like getting within hours of your first ticket creation. But what I want to point out here is, through all of the incidents that Mortaza explained earlier in the call today, we were able to maintain a relatively low response time through all of it. And you'll see the spikes there, right? Like you see it spike on the right side of the chart with the red dot. That was like one of the incidents, but you also see it immediately go right back down a day later. And we're really proud of that, because that was part of the reason why we've been optimizing our support team processes, is so that when these incidents happen, we're able to respond really quickly and not be drowning for the next 3 weeks or a month from that one time. Like we were able to address the issue and get back to reasonable response times within 24 hours. So thank y'all for being patient with us, and thank you for all of the feedback you've given in the support queue. And just know that we're continuing to invest here to get that response time even lower. Cool. Any questions in the chat before I push it to you, Mike, for some community talk?
Let me double check. There is a lot, and I could not paste them in because I was screen sharing, which I've learned that next time I will let you screen share for that section. But let me go back up here. We got a couple of questions. Anita, I see yours about courses and the design of the layout. I'm going to save that to go with Benny's question when we do feature stuff at the end. Honestly, people are just super excited about our growth. They're shouting that out. There are a couple questions about payments. I see that. I see you there, Dasha. I'm gonna save that one as well. I'll get it pasted into the list. Let's see. Questions about the annual upsell. Okay, that's on me, Nicole. Thank you for the heads up on the annual upsell banner. That's me. That's all me. I apologize. It's helpful to some people, and I understand your feedback. I will take that and take it in. I never had marketing called out on one of these. That was kind of fun. That's I like that.
This is what happens. You hire a marketing guy, and these banners
all
that'll
people
disappear.
Notice it.
Yeah.
All the banners in there. Yes. All right. So everybody's super excited to dive into stuff. Compliment to Murtaza from Eden. Just joined the community this month. Your videos are awesome and helpful. So I wanted to shout that one out. Nicole likes your direction with the 2 to 3 minutes because neurodivergent folks and focus and brain types. I see you. I feel you on that one. So awesome there. Also, Eden does comment, don't understand why everyone isn't using Heartbeat. It is way better than either School or Circle. Well, I'm biased, but yes, you're correct. Factually correct. But we also have agreement. We have consensus from Nicole. And Dash, I see your question about the payment model in Serbia. Because of that model, you tried Thinkific, the membership platform and membership.io, and many other solutions, but we don't want compromises. We want Heartbeat. I want that on a t-shirt. We don't want compromises. We want Heartbeat. Thank you it's too long a comment to put up as a graphic on the screen, but thank you for that one, Dasha. That's awesome. No need to apologize. Love you guys anyway when it comes to the response times, Nick. Just wanted to let you know that. And let's see. We have a question from Greg on EU custom domain issues are taking it a long time to join a Heartbeat community still. So localized on the geography there. That's related to the issues we talked about earlier, correct, guys, if I remember right?
Yeah, we can take a look into that and figure out what's going on there.
All right, Greg, I got your thing noted here. We'll do that for you. Okay, awesome. And Allison agrees with Eden that she's been on Kajabi, Mighty, Circle, and Heartbeat is easy and clean. So we just got love flowing in all over, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate that very much. And Nicole wants to take a moment to reflect on the hard work. And here it is. You've made it. You have built your dream. So, like, awesome. What a wonderful... I love these sessions, guys. Can we just do these all the time? Let's do these all the time. Weekly town halls. Okay. So in the community update, want to give you guys what we did last month. We did have 2 amazing tutorials. The replays are available in the Hearth and on our YouTube channel. If you haven't checked them out, please do. We had 2 preferred partners, 2 Heartbeat preferred partners this month. We had Elijah Drown with your podcast sidekick, and he did How Dungeons & Dragons Helps You Create Confident Content. For a fun, amazing session as a foil of using the creativity of storytelling through Dungeons & Dragons to draw out the way that you can think differently about the content you create, we have never had a tutorial session like that. So if you haven't caught the replay, please watch it. Wildly popular. People had a ton of fun in it. No D&D experience required. It was not actually about the game. I just want to specify that. And of course, Fix Your Marketing Plan, the who before the how. This was our preferred partner, The Way How. This is actually the shop that helped us set up the HubSpot, which is the wonderful platform that made those banners, Dasha. So they talked about how to identify your customer and have that heart-first marketing to people, and the effect of it is enormous. There's so much out there that is helpful tactics. They're not wrong, but they're like step 2 or 3. You got to understand who the person is you're marketing to first for all of those things to really work properly. So if you didn't catch that one, that was 90 minutes long, worth every minute. Everyone stuck around. It was super amazing. Definitely catch both of these on the YouTube channel or in the Hearth. And of course, a reminder about our interest groups. If you're into wanting to learn about marketing, if you want to have support about courses, or you want to know more about automation, join the interest groups in the Hearth. You'll then have access to the events and the channels that go with them. This way you can connect and talk about those topics and get the support that you need on an ongoing way. Super awesome to have that kind of mastermind, hive mind support in all those different topics. So I'll drop off the screen share here. This way I can go back to logging these awesome questions that everybody's dropped in, and I'll let you guys take over what's coming up next.
Got it. Thank you. And so now we're going to spend the next portion of our call today talking about what's coming next over the next month. And starting with me, product. Uh, and there's a few things coming up. The last bullet is my most anticipated one, but I'll start with the first two, right? Dinner before dessert. So the quality of life improvements are happening over the next month. We already mentioned a few of them. Mayhole is working with a consultant to help us identify performance updates that we can make to, decrease load times, for example, for your community, and other quality of life improvements there. I'm also sending a bunch of your feedback from our product market fit survey to Mayhole. There was a lot of really helpful quality of life improvements that y'all recommended that I want to get implemented as soon as possible, because the less paper cuts, the better, y'all. We have Band-Aids, but it'd be nice to not get them in the first place. So we'll be working on that over the next month. In addition to that, I mentioned earlier that we're going to be implementing more of this progressive feature discovery for y'all, based on what you're already doing in the platform, where you're at with your community in terms of growth, and what you're looking to get. We'll be showing you the features that might be helpful to you. So that will be both in the help center under the recipes section, but also within the community in product as pop-ups with videos and how-tos and ways to show you how to increase engagement, membership size, or your revenue. Now, last thing here. We have been working on a massive events improvement, y'all. And just to name a few things that I'm about to show you: event ticketing, capacity limits for your events and tickets, and RSVP deadlines for your events. Who's hyped? I'm hyped. So I'm going to move over to Figma. I'm going to show you some of the mocks. All of these mocks are in Mayhole's hands. So everybody yell at Mayhole to be quick and get this into your hands as quickly as possible.
Wow, that was brave.
I'm testing my limits here as our product manager. Okay, so jumping over to my mocks here. One, this is now the create event flow that you'll experience once this updates out. So the first thing you'll notice is it's no longer the small modal where you're creating the event. We're taking it to the full screen, like you've seen, the create offer flows and others that we've been updating. This will just allow you to have more real estate to look at and edit and customize your event. On the left side, you'll notice a lot of the same features you have today. You have your cover photo, your event title, description, your date and time, your location. But ooh, what's this? You can now edit the hosts of your event, and you can have multiple hosts on an event as well. So if I may be creating this event, but maybe Nicole is hosting it, I can just remove myself here and add Nicole there, and she'll show up as the host. No, this has been on the common request. This is also one of those quality of life things that we've been wanting to get to, and I'm really glad we got to bundle it into this update. On the right side here at the bottom, you'll notice the same event email reminders that you know today. So, your medium, heavy, or none. We just consolidate it into a more concise list here, and then your event reminders as well for leading up to an event. But let's ignore all that for a moment and go back up here. Visibility and discovery and invited attendees are the two most improved pieces of this update, because there's two things that's coming. One, if you set to your event to public, very soon, but not in the first iteration of this, we're going to make your event publicly discoverable on an aggregate Heartbeat page, where people can come to Heartbeat's website and see all of the amazing public community events that are happening in RSVP. Just another channel for you to get leads in the door, since so many of you are using events as lead gen for your community. That's what we're really leaning into here, and that's much of the reason for this update, is to allow you to continue to supercharge events as a lead gen tool for your community. Thanks for throwing these up on the screen, Mike.
Oh, I had to. How could I not? Yeah, how could I not? You guys are so great with these comments right now.
So let me paint a picture for you. Let's make an event that is free for my premium members in my community. And I want my free members to either upgrade to get this free event, or they can pay a single event ticket price. Pay me $5, you could come to this event, or you could join our premium and come for free. All right, let's do it. I'm going to invite my premium group, and I'm going to say that they don't have to pay a thing. to come to this event. It's included in their membership. This little icon here is telling me that upsells are enabled, so other people are going to be able to upgrade to access this, right? But now let's add our free tier, our free member group. And we don't want them to come to this for free. We're going to click this, and they're going to actually pay $5 to come to this event. It's as easy as this, y'all. Like, I really tried to make this so darn simple because I want you guys to be able to use this like ASAP and immediately. So that's the basic setup. This is just an in-community event, premium and free members. But let's say I also want to use this as a lead generation tool for people not in my community yet. I'm going to set this to public. And now I have this general public option. And I don't want them to come for free. I want them to pay even more than everybody else. I'm going to make them pay $10. So Mike, you're not in my community yet. You have to pay $10. Sorry.
Better than the $100 price point you gave me for the demo in the newsletter.
So now we have this simple setup, right? So I'm going to be automatically generating 3 ticket types for this event. My premium members come for free. Free members can see this event exists, and they could choose to either upgrade to premium or pay the $5 ticket fee. And anybody outside of my community is going to have to pay $10 to come to this event. It could stop there, or you can get a little crafty with it and click this advanced ticket settings, and we'll expand everything to give you all of the toggles and all of the configuration settings for every single thing, right? So I click that, and now for my premium ticket, maybe I want to limit the capacity to just 10 or 15, or I want to set an RSVP deadline. I could do that same thing for each of these. I could set a ticket name and a description so that I can market it to people on my event page properly, right? I can do that same thing for the public facing ticket. Guys, I could even create multiple tickets for the same groups to let them decide. It's, Mike should pay $500.
I see you, David. Thank you.
Thanks for the idea. So, and what's really exciting about this, y'all, is like you can now do early bird ticket pricing. You guys could do like set like all these RSVP deadlines over a period of time for your events. There's a lot of craftiness you can do, and I'm excited to see what you do. But let's just say we want to stop it there, and let's click create and see what this whole thing looks like. This is a sample of what somebody in the community will see for this event. And I remind you, they're in the community already, so they're not going to see that public one that I created for the public. They're just going to see these 2 options. I have the standard ticket, and I set a limit of 10 left and an RSVP deadline where they could pay $5. They click RSVP, in community checkout, bing, bang, boom, they're RSVP'd. Or there's a little upsell here. And I click this, and I upsell into the premium tier of the membership, and then RSVP for free. Questions?
The question is, okay, when is this going to be live? Nicole is speaking for everybody in the chat right now. There are others, but that one is, I think, the big one.
Well, we just pushed this to development. There's definitely like still a few kinks and stuff to work out here. I'm still working on a few like mobile view designs to make sure it looks good on every single screen. But Mehul, do you want to give like a rough timeline on this?
Yeah, I mean, I think rough timeline will be in the next couple of weeks. I think optimistically, like 2 to 3 weeks, we can start to roll this out.
Awesome.
We did have a question from Rich about what happens if people try to RSVP or register after the deadline you set. What's that experience like?
So right now they just won't be able to. There will be like no RSVP option, and there will be some help text to let them know that the deadline is passed. I do see a future where we allow you to toggle on a wait list if the RSVP deadline happens or the capacity is reached. So there are a lot of things we could add onto this. We're going to start and launch with the initial thing here because that's the fastest way to get it into your hands. And then based on demand and your usage of it, we'll add some extra bells and whistles.
David did say that it's okay if you charge me more for events because there will naturally be a salary bump. I'm just going to float that out there.
I can't read that.
So Patrick is loving it. Julian is loving it. Dasha is speechless other than the words, I am speechless. Nicole is all caps woohoo. But there is a question in here from Nicole. Could they register and get a recording? Is there functionality for that baked in?
So that's a good question. I'd say the closest yes I have to that right now is we will be updating a bit of the workflows side of this to account for all the new stuff that we have. So you're going to be able to trigger workflows based on the ticket type that was purchased as well. So right now you could segment workflows based on if somebody's RSVPing as a member or somebody not a member of your community. That's the current layout, and we'll just be adding another option to segment by ticket type purchased. So I can see a world where you're like charging a little bit more for a higher ticket that also sends them a recording.
So I don't know if this comment about a waitlist feature would be cool came immediately before you said it or after, because the speed was so high, but we basically have love for waitlists, epicness about waitlists. Anita likes the nice big RSVP button. We've got love for the design. We do have a question from Rich. What are the options for email reminders leading up to the event?
Yeah, good question. So this is going to be the same as it is today. So you're going to be able to select like X minutes before, X hours before, days before. Yeah, if you're looking for something more advanced there, let me know. I'd love to better understand like what
I
your
think
needs would be.
Rich was also asking about follow-up to event attendees after the fact, so the pre and post.
Yes, love the way you're thinking here. So one additional thing that is going to be added with this is the ability to blast an email blast to any attendees, invited members, or confirmed, invited, or declined members of an event. So you're going to be able to without having to jumble through settings and go through workflows, you're just going to be able to go to an event and say, I want to send an email blast to anybody invited, confirmed, or declined on this event. So I would say like that would be the best answer there for you, Rich, is even after the event happens, you'll be able to click an email blast and send something out to them.
Wonderful. We do have a question here from Shade asking, are we able to embed a list of events on an external platform and let people register from there for public events? Very similar to what you were proposing for Discovery.
But I really, really want that. It's not going to be available in the first iteration here, but that is something that's like definitely on my radar, and we are going to be looking into.
And one thing to just address real quick with that question is like you're seeing this a lot with some of the features that we're showing with this events page, especially kind of what Nick mentioned of like in the near future, what we're even hoping to do is allow you to start listing these events even on the like main Heartbeat website to bring in new customers and new members. Is we want to start moving a little bit backwards into the actual growth side of your community. If you think about the sequencing of what we really worked on from a product perspective, we spent a lot of time building really good engagement and just like chat tech for your members so that they could come in, they could have conversations, they could go through courses, events, documents, content, all that good stuff. And then on top of that, what we layered in is really the best-in-class revenue management system, so you can actually charge for revenue, build a larger business. And now if we want to go one step further, it is how do we actually help you grow and run more people through that process so that you're actually building a larger community, you're monetizing these people that are coming in, and your business is very rapidly growing on Heartbeat. And this is kind of how we're looking at this. We know so many people use events as the initial entry point of their community. That's why we wanted to spend so much time actually rebuilding and improving the experience over here and giving you a lot more control over the fine-grained experience that people go through. But that's really where we're moving into, is not just how do we help you build a great community experience, but how do we help you bring more people into the incredible community experience that you built out?
Great questions, guys. I do have a couple more. I don't know if we can squeak in two more before we go to the next section here. We have from Patrick, have we any near future plans to improve the voice rooms? It would be great to keep members in the hearth and create a recording, alternatively real-time media protocol streaming stuff or SRT stuff. Related to events, Nick, different scope, part of this scope?
Unrelated to this project directly, but I will say that like beefing up this and this improvement sets us up really nicely to take that kind of project on in the future. Just we're kind of like getting all of our ducks in a row here. But I agree that like voice rooms do need love. And I'll kind of just leave it at that for now, and maybe we can like bring it back up in the last portion here when
okay.
we chat about
and
that.
Then we've also got a request for beta sign up immediately get people on the list. Okay. Any timeline on that, Nick, when we think we want to start testing, or are we just going to start doing phased rollouts?
Mehul?
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably have like a beta list, and so we'll definitely keep you in mind, and we'll do a larger announcement for people that want to sign up for the beta as we start rolling. So.
All right. My gosh, you guys are all in on this. I love this. I'm sorry I'm only able to keep up as fast as I can. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, if you had a thought, you can do that. I'll put
Yeah,
that back
just
up on
the other
screen.
thing that I wanted to emphasize, I think we kind of touched on this, but like one of my favorite parts about this is just the power of combining upsells and event tickets here, where I think Nick mentioned this idea of you could have it be free for your premium members and then charge your other members $5. But what we're also going to be doing here is that anyone who's not in the premium group, if you have upsells turned on, they're going to be prompted to upgrade while they're getting that event ticket. And then what we'll do is we'll basically have them purchase both the upgrade to the premium group and like the event ticket together at the same time. And so I just see this as being like a very powerful approach for you to be able to continue to get people from your free membership into your paid membership, if that's what you're doing, by making it real clear to them that, hey, I have these different event tickets. Here's another reason why you should be upgrading.
All right, guys, I'm going to start documenting some of these questions so we can loop through them just because there's so many. Love the engagement. We're going to try to get to all of these, but I want to make sure we can just touch on a few of the remaining things that we've got on here. We have people who are like live streaming audio would be a dream, raising hand for a beta test. Yeah, okay, I'm going to have to dig into this and just copy paste everything out. Just carry on, Nick, for a few seconds. I need a few minutes to copy these out.
This is great. I don't think we've had Mike fully overwhelmed at a town hall yet.
I make it happen, guys. Make the problem. We'll find the solution next. I love it. Okay.
You know what, Mike? Why don't you take over here and I'll finish up in the chat for you.
Thank you for that. Scroll up to Rich from 4 minutes ago and start from there and work your way down.
On it.
Where he's speaking to you directly in that comment anyway. All right, so growth updates, initiatives, and things that we're working on for the next month. We, like all of you guys, are continuing event-led lead generation. Our Hearth events are as much to help you guys grow the way you grow your businesses as they are wonderful places for people to get their first welcome into the Heartbeat ecosystem and family. So we're continuing to run 2 of these a month. On average, every other week. Sometimes they get next to each other, sometimes they're spread out, but they work really well to have us just help you guys and also bring new people into the fold. So that works really well, and you guys should consider that as a strategy in your business too. What's new that we just spun up, that really it's kind of more of a we're watching the lagging effects of this, is YouTube retargeting ads. So we've been doing mostly like Google ads and all the meta platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Threads. But we're going to start trying some YouTube video ads. And what we're doing there is using this as a strategy to expand that welcoming people into the live walkthroughs. We're just so you guys have a window into what the strategy is we take people who have visited heartbeat.chat, the homepage for our company, but has not started a trial, and we build a list of those people, which are not like by name. We can't identify who they are, but we can build kind of a lookalike audience by traffic. And then we can use that lookalike audience to inform who gets to see the ads. So it's a great chance for somebody who saw us, closed the tab, had to call and talk to mom, had to go pay the bills, had to make dinner, and then forgot about Heartbeat, and they just need a little reminder. That's what that strategy is for. It brings it back up with a video, which is actually more just a smiling face, inviting them to a live tutorial. So we're going to see where that runs on a multi-channel approach, doing it on Meta properties and YouTube. We're also continuing email nurture and upsell, but we're making strategic improvements here. The goal is timing. So I think it was either Nicole or Dasha or both of you guys commented about the banners. So what we do there is there are email drips that when you reach certain life cycle stages that we try to deliver helpful content. Sometimes that helpful content is moving you from monthly to annual because you save money if you go that route. And sometimes it's about making sure that folks who haven't started a trial yet, or maybe did a trial a while ago and are still thinking about it, kind of, but on the fence, giving them the info they need to make an informed decision. So we're continuing to make improvements on what the content is. We think a lot about content, but it's also when. It's also what the timing is. We noticed a major improvement, for example, when I moved the annual reminder that you can go to annual and save money sooner. Major improvement to seeing guys actually taking advantage of that, people taking advantage of that. So consider that in your own marketing too, about when you send stuff is just as important as what. And lastly, I want to consider doing brand awareness campaigns. So this how-to content that we're putting out on YouTube, we want to start exploring a multi-layered approach where, directly asking someone to buy is great, but usually they got to know you, like you, and trust you before they're going to do that. And this sort of awareness content that's just helpful, how-to content, is a great way to kind of make that first impression. So we're looking at having that content distributed. So those are the main motions that we're going to be looking at going forward. Nick, go ahead and grab support.
Sweet. Coming on support, continued improvements in the Help Center and our AI bot, who many of y'all have been complimenting. So the AI bot says thank you. They told me to say that. We'll be looking to add even more stuff to that recipe section, like we said earlier, right? We want to keep answering the question of how do I continue to grow my business on Heartbeat for you. So we're going to be adding as much content as we could there. And then more availability for getting unstuck calls. One thing that we've seen a lot of success in is, especially early on when you're setting up your community, sometimes you just need a little bit of a push or a few questions that feel like big blockers that you just really need to get answered quickly or live. So we've been offering these 15-minute get unstuck calls from our support team, and they've been going really well. It's been helping people really understand how they can build on Heartbeat, and we're going to be increasing our availability there so that we can help even more of y'all in a faster pace as well. All right, back to you, Mike, on the community side.
Awesome. So we're gonna continue to add more recipes to the Help Center. That's kind of the main thing that we have in this section. If you guys have browsed around in that for a while, it's actually, I think we were just joking. There are help centers that are just not helpful. We try to actively not be that. We want to have a help center that when you go there, you can actually find the thing that you need. And sometimes it's not like helpful to read 3 how-tos to then figure out the specific use case you're going for, when you can just find a recipe that tells you specifically the thing you're trying to do. And that's why we made these. Nick, if we go down a little bit further, we do have some upcoming events here. Obviously, we're here today for the Town Hall. Welcome. In case you just realized you stumbled in here. And also we have 2 new events coming up as well in the coming weeks. How to use merch to boost membership retention and revenue. So this is a strategy of actual physical merchandise as a retention strategy and revenue growth strategy. So really interesting topic for those of you who have some members in your community and might want to look at ways of increasing that lifetime value you earn from your members and how to keep them around. And of course, we also are having a tutorial from Lisa Prinsick, who has been a tutorial host before. Always useful topics. We'll get more details on that in there once we get that scheduled in the Hearth. So stay tuned. You guys saw it here before it even made it into the Hearth calendar.
Awesome. And with that, let's go ahead and shift over into what do you guys want to see next in the platform? So I know there's a ton of questions that came in, so we want to take a look at that. Let's start off with answering Benny's question around like the upgrades to the voice room feature. So I know Nick touched on this lightly with the events. The high level is we do want to do some voice room upgrades. I think, like Nick said, the events sort of lead us into now building more and more into voice rooms. This is something that we've sort of recognized with product is as you kind of build more features, the next thing that you build becomes more obvious, right? Now that we've built all these like huge improvements to events, we want to be able to build improved voice rooms to allow you to, have all this happen directly inside of your sort of community ecosystem. What I will say, and I just want to call this out beforehand, is the video tech infrastructure for voice rooms, it's really complex tech that actually runs this on the back end. And so that's why we've held off on this, because it's one of those projects where it's an inordinate amount of like time that has to be invested in to create some improvements in the product. And so that's kind of why we're holding off on it just in the short term. Our hope is to like build up our engineering capacity a little bit more over the next, I wouldn't say like 3 to 6 months before we take a look at tackling this. But the short answer is all of us internally are super aligned on this. Like we definitely want to like make some big improvements on the voice rooms. There's a lot of stuff that even we have in mind of like what it can look like to just have significantly better voice rooms. And even like cool stuff with the way the new desktop UI works. Like we've been playing around with stuff like that, being able to have voice rooms that are hosted in that like right column that pops up over there, being able to have better polls to actually bring people in, being able to have chats in there, being able to like better do the management of screens and screen sharing. So there's a lot of ideas that we've been talking about internally of like what it looks like, but I just want to give you guys a heads up is we want to take some time to increase our engineering capacity first, and then we want to tackle this project because it does take a lot more resources than it looks like. All right, let's dive into the next one, which was from Anita. Would like to have 3 across on the courses and docs instead of 2. Yeah, good question. We can take a look at this in terms of the quality of life improvements. We do have a sprint coming up. I will say I can't promise 100% that this will get done, but we'll take a look and see if it's one of those things where it's like pretty simple. These layout kind of requests, it's really weird. Sometimes they're either really easy or they're like weirdly complex, and it's like those 2 columns are like structural to the page. So we'll take a look and play around with it. I can't make any promises, but we'll definitely take a look at this because I know this request has come in from a couple different channels. Sweet. So Dasha, I saw that you were mentioning that with regards to Heartbeat payments. Yes, we would love to get you guys onto Heartbeat payments. We touched on Nicole's question about the banner. We looked at Greg's. That's probably going to be a one-off thing, so we'll take a look at that as well. Dasha mentioned we host an event that lasts 1 hour, and we always indicate the duration of an hour. And just reading through, it looks like sometimes this event ends early, and you don't want people coming in like the last 5 minutes thinking that the event didn't happen. We might be able to just do a better job of like pulling that information from Zoom to understand that, hey, the full event happened. So we'll take a look at that from the back end, because that would be my ideal solution, is we can just like automatically calculate that and be like, okay, there was a long enough Zoom call that this event definitely happened. So we'll see if there's like a better way for us to just intelligently take a look at that from the back end and pull that, rather than making you have to go in and like manually confirm that, hey, this event is over. But yeah, we'll see if we can take a look at this for a future quality of life sprint. I don't know if we'll be able to do it immediately in the next 2 weeks, but we'll definitely keep that in mind. All right. Cool. So Rich mentioned, yeah, Nick, it'd be amazing to be able to send up follow-up emails to attendees. Definitely. Yeah, we want to add a lot more granularity into that. I think especially with events becoming a major entry point for people coming into the community, now we need to help you guys tighten up the communication around those folks, not just being able to give you the filtering, but ideally, Rich, even be able to give you better templates of how do you communicate with those folks, how do you work with them to get the maximum attendees to your next event, grow really effectively, all of that. Julian then asked, I'm new to Heartbeat. Can I customize the email reminders? And I'm assuming this is in regards to events. At the moment, Julian, that's not possible. Right now, we keep those event reminders as like really tight messaging to just say like, hey, this event is coming up soon. This may be something we take a look at in the future. It's kind of the balance here of what we're trying to do is make sure that you have enough granularity to control and manage the community experience without putting so much on your plate of every tiny email that comes out from Heartbeat. You have to go and customize the text that comes out from it. So that's kind of what we're trying to decide the balance between is how much do we want to put on your plate if you have to go out and do this versus how much can we just create really good, tight templated messaging that takes care of this for you. So it's a little bit more of the internal debate there that we're working on, but at the moment, not yet, Julian. Cool, we touched on Sarah's as well. Patrick says, was thinking about how the new event offer could work with example, voice rooms, top tier, YouTube general. Yeah, I think there's a lot that can be kind of like played out here, Patrick, of like what does this sort of like full event experience look like? How do you take the event? How do you do it in a voice room? What does that experience look like? Can you then push it out to YouTube? Can you then turn into additional content? And what's nice is we are doing this right now with our own growth channels. And so, we always do this. Is basically as soon as we figure out a growth tactic on our end, we're like, cool, how do we build this into Heartbeat so all of our community admins can benefit off of that learning? So as soon as we get some really good consensus on this, we can start building this out into the product too. Cool. And then Rich asked, if an event is listed as a public event on Heartbeat, will other Heartbeat members need to join our community or just RSVP to the event? Rich, so the way that we're planning to do this is it's going to be the latter. The same way that you have your public event pages right now is you have the event page, people can RSVP to the event without joining the overall community. You get the email address and the name of that person, and then you can follow up with them through email afterwards. So that's kind of how we're looking at it, is we want the fastest, most frictionless way for them to RSVP in, jump into the event, be able to get a part of that, and then give you the information to build up that relationship and nurture with them down the line. So it would be the latter, they just RSVP to the event. Awesome. So Florence had a longer question. I read through this a little bit earlier, but it looks like the main gist of this question is posts in the feed are not chronological. That is correct, Florence. So the way that home feed works is it's basically two factors that determine how high up a post goes. It is recency, so how soon was it posted, and then it is temperature. So basically, there's this temperature score of if there's a lot of comments, if there's a lot of reactions on a post, that'll increase the temperature, it gets hotter, and now we want to move that up to the top. And so that's what it's a balance of, is it is both recency and both temperature. We are playing around with what actually moves things up and down in that feed. And so we'll still have some more experiments, like we're running through that just to make sure that we can improve engagement. Once we run through a larger volume of those experiments, our hope is down the line to give you a little bit more granular control over what that feed looks like. But the short answer, Florence, is like we are still getting clarity on exactly how do we want to like build in that home feed and what changes do we want to make. Once we get past a couple more iterations of that, then I think we'll be in a place where we can start handing off more and more of that control neutral to you. So it's a not yet thing, but down the line, it's definitely something that we're thinking about. Anita asked a question, and by the way, I see that we're right at time, so if you guys do have to jump off, I totally understand. I want to run through the rest of these questions just because you guys spent an hour with us. I want to make sure that we hit all these. Anita asked, I'm confused if sign-up pages or offers are first. Is there an order? Thank you. Anita, I would do an offer first because now you're basically creating the product and saying this is paid, and then the sign-up page second because the sign-up page now allows you to join in that offer. The nice little thing that we do is as soon as you create an offer, we actually automatically create a sign-up page for it. So it doesn't really need to be you do one and then you do number two. You can literally just make an offer and then you automatically have a sign-up page ready for you. That's kind of the way that we were thinking about it, is the sign-up pages allow you to join the community. So now if you want to make that page, you're going to just go build an offer and we'll auto-create the sign-up page for you. Chris asked, is there a header space to add valid HTML tags, styles, or scripts? At the moment, Christoph, that's not possible, mainly because it creates some security concerns when you're injecting code into the page. I think we will, long-term, want to provide you more customization options, but at the moment, what we're prioritizing is just security and speed, and both of those can get compromised when you're injecting HTML or script code into the page. Sally, yes, we are going to fix the ephemeral voice rooms within the next couple weeks. That's added to our next quality of life sprint. Brooke, totally heard. Yeah, we'll take a look and see. Like I said, I just want to make sure it's not like a structural page thing. And then Allison asked, is there the ability to drop voice notes? You know what, Allison? There's the ability on mobile. It hasn't made its way to desktop just yet, and that's kind of just been it sort of fell off of our radar. I think we were just pushing so many updates that we sort of forgot about that. So we can take a look at doing that on desktop. But yes, on mobile, very easy to do it. I do it a lot. Our team, I think they like it, but I don't know. They haven't complained yet. And then. Yeah, we had Mike who said, love the new sign-up pages for no card-free trials. Awesome. Oh, wow. That Mike. Never mind.
Rescind the enthusiasm. Thanks, boss.
Yeah. Super rescinded. And then Brooke came in and said, I would love to add in our own chatbots. Man, Brooke waited till 4:03 to drop something in spicy. It's something we're thinking about, and it's something like Nick actually mentioned last week. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. We're looking a little bit more at what are the larger AI capabilities. I personally have just been so impressed by just the leaps and bounds and improvements in AI over the last 3 months that I think there's some really meaningful areas that we can build in tech using AI to add leverage for you guys. So we're still actively exploring it right now, but the short answer is it's more of a question of when, not if. And so yeah, there's definitely going to be some cool stuff coming down the pipeline to help you improve your community experience using AI. Whew. Okay, I think we hit everything. Mike, is there anything else that we're missing here?
We have a all caps yay from Brooke. We have Allison is grateful for the comment about mobile voice notes. Makes sense to do there. And Patrick says thanks to the team. Looking forward to the upcoming improvements. So really glad that all of these things are working for you guys. Thanks to you guys for sticking around a few minutes after the hour.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate y'all. I don't want to keep you guys any further. I just want to say thank you again for jumping on, for being vocal, for sharing your thoughts. This really does make a difference in terms of how we actually stack and define our product roadmap. So I cannot thank you guys enough for just spending some time with us, being a part of the chat, and really guiding us towards the right stuff, because you make this job a lot easier. You can tell us what to build and we build it, and it's that simple, right? So thank you again for showing up, for being live, for being present. We appreciate y'all. Take care. We'll see you guys at the next one. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.